Hi, everybody. I'm Councilmember Arredondo-Savage, and I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your business schedule to participate in today's roundtable. This is a follow-up meeting to our first virtual Tempe Business Roundtable event that occurred in early August. At that meeting, we were joined by representatives from the Tempe Tourism Office, Downtown Tempe Authority, Tempe Chamber of Commerce, Local First, and Rail CDC. That first session has been recorded and is available online. It was a really good, informative session, and I would encourage you, if you haven't had a chance to check it out, to please do that. At this second session, we have brought in a few additional partners, and I want to say thank you all for being here today. And they are going to be able to explain their programs and services that are available to help businesses succeed in this current, a little unusual environment that we're in. Today, we are joined by our representatives from the City Economic Development Team, Maricopa Small Business Development Center, and the U.S. Small Business Administration. At the first Tempe Business Roundtable, I really assured the community that we would make effective use of the dialogue and the information that we received. Mayor Woods and much of the City Council were presented for the last roundtable, and we're present for the last roundtable, and we use the information we received to really help us make better decisions on allocating the resources that we have as a community. We will be talking about some of these programs today, and Jill, I hope this isn't a spoiler alert, but we're really excited to see not only what our partners are doing, but also what the City of Tempe is doing. Our businesses are so important to our community. As many of you know, my family and I have operated a small business in Tempe for over 30 years. Our businesses are truly the fabric that helps transform Tempe to just a location on the map into this very amazing community that we all love to be a part of. We want to present you with ways that the City of Tempe and our phenomenal partners can help you. We will take time in between the presentations to address your questions, anything that you may have. Please just remember to type them into the Q&A chat area, and we will share those and make sure that they are addressed. And if you have anything specific for a specific organization, please make sure you let us know that. We will finish the presentation and have another final opportunity for additional questions at the end. And we will make sure that the contact information for our presenters here today is available as well. So I want to thank really quick Tim Gomez, as you can see his email there, and he's going to be doing the Q&A, and Alex Chin. Thank you so much for keeping us organized, making sure that we're able to smoothly do our presentations today. So first and foremost, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jim Pipper from the U.S. Small Business Administration. Jim is the lead economic development and veteran business development officer with the SBA. Jim is experienced in assisting entrepreneurs in either start and or expanding their business opportunities using the SBA's programs and services. Jim is particularly proud of the assistance he's been able to provide to veterans, active duty military, and military spouses and family members. He is a Vietnam-era combat veteran and proudly served in the United States Air Force. Jim, thank you very much for taking the time to be here to let our business owners know the ways that the SBA can help them through these really challenging times. So thank you, Jim. I really do appreciate you and your partnership with the SBA, and I'm grateful for you being here. So on to you.
Well, thank you, and good morning. Good morning, everyone. I have a short PowerPoint, but before I get into the slides, thank you for the introduction and for being a proud service member yourself, young lady. Sure appreciate it. I said it earlier, thank you for your service. One of the things, I've been with the SBA almost 40 years now, folks, and I was telling someone that I'm retirement eligible and have been for a few years, but my wife doesn't want me home all the time, especially under COVID conditions. So she suggested that I just keep working, and it's been my honor to serve our country and to also serve here in Arizona. Been here since 1990, and I'm proud of what our office does. And getting into the PowerPoint, if you don't mind, next screen, please. Okay. Just a short little background on how long the SBA has been doing this. We're not new at the game, folks. We were established in 1953, but long before that, the federal government was involved in economic development. It was just all formalized in 1953. But we are the only federal agency specifically designed to assist the small business communities in our country. We have 67 SBA offices like ours across the country and our territories, and each and every one of them work hard in their respective communities. So I can speak only for the two offices. I've served in Cleveland, Ohio, and in Arizona. I moved here, like I said earlier, in 1990, and been proudly serving our community. I am serious when I tell you about our office. We are committed to trying to help out. So today, as we go through this little webinar that we're on, if I can't answer any of your questions, please field them to me. You'll know how to do that by the end of today. And we are proud of getting back, because I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't like it when someone doesn't get back to me on a question I have, and I don't like people wasting my time either. And we pride ourselves in not wasting your time, and as part of this community helping out. So our mission statement is we're to aid, counsel, protect, and also we have fair proportion of government contracts and sales. And that's a area I'm particularly proud of, because a lot of folks, our business owners that is, do not know that our federal agency, the SBA, is the main link between them and federal contracting opportunities, as well as state opportunities, county opportunities, city opportunities. If there's a contract being let out there, SBA is there to try to help make that connection. That's not something that a lot of business owners know. I'm surprised in all the years I've been here. I had one just yesterday that said, "Oh, I didn't know you guys did that." Well, okay, this is what we do. So next slide, please. Okay, how do we do this? That's a good question. We can't do it alone. And even though we have 67 SBA offices around the country, getting down to the real brass tacks, or where the foot is on the ground, we use resource partners, and one of them is pictured here. His name is Marcus, and he'll be talking about business development, the small business development centers that are across the country. Here in Arizona, our small business development centers are attached to community colleges, and it's a good fit. Marcus will elaborate on that, I'm sure, a little bit, but we can't do this alone, and we don't try to do it alone. And we have financial assistance in the form of SBA loans. A lot of folks are very familiar with our SBA loan programs. We at one time made direct loans. We don't anymore. They're all guaranteed loans through lending folks. And we're proud of those because a lot of folks that are trying to access capital utilize our programs and find that they can get capital when they may not otherwise be able to. Procurement assistance is exactly what I was talking about earlier, government contracting. And while I'm on that subject, the first Wednesday of every month, we put out in the afternoon, we do a government contract, doing business with the government. And it's a very popular program, so watch for that. Jill and some others are distributing the flyers as they come out. So first Wednesday of every month in the afternoon, we do a procurement affair. And on financial assistance in the morning, first Wednesday of every month, we do a loan clinic. So those are two very popular things we do. And today, we've all learned that we do this like we are this morning. We're doing it virtually, so you don't have to come down to our office. You can sit at home in your jammies, throw a shirt on if you want, and participate. So the last bullet point is advocacy. We have an advocate that works hard for the communities and making sure that there's not too much unfairness going on. They try to level the playing field for small businesses to do business. And last underneath that is our disaster assistance, which currently is dealing with not only the pandemic, but we're dealing with the flooding and the hurricanes that just hit. So those folks are just a little bit busy right now, to say the least. But next slide, please. Okay, our resource partners. SCORE, they're not new either. Been around 50 years. Service Corps of Retired Executives is what the acronym stands for. They hate it. They don't like it, but they're chartered underneath it. And unfortunately, they can't work around. So their workaround is they call themselves America's Counselors to Small Business. That's the term they like to use. Their services are at no cost or very low cost. I'm distributing flyers from the 3 chapters that we have here in Arizona. We have a northern chapter, central chapter, and a southern chapter. They're all doing stuff, particularly now during the pandemic, to help businesses pivot, to help them learn how they can deal with the times we're all having to deal with right now. And they're just tiring themselves trying to get the word out to what they are doing. Small Business Development Centers, Marcus, I'm gonna let him tell you a little bit more about that. But again, they're connected with our community colleges, and in many other states, they're connected to universities, and there's a good reason for that. And so, Marcus, you can elaborate on that when it rolls around to your picture. We had 2 women business centers, one here in Phoenix and one in Tucson, but the one here in Phoenix just had a tough time and wasn't able to survive. So we have a women business center in Tucson, and I know, folks, that's Tucson. We're 100 miles north of Tucson, but guess what? Because it is computer, you can participate in their webinars. So lastly, we have the Veteran Business Development Center. I want to talk about that one very quickly. For many years, we did not have a Veteran Business Development Center, better known as a VBOC. And the one that was assigned to the state of Arizona was up in Sacramento, California. And we just had a lot of geography between us, and we couldn't quite understand the connection. So we labored until we got one. They're housed out of Sierra Vista, right outside of Fort Huachuca. And they too, like our other 3 resource partners, are doing virtual webinars, helping our veterans. And they're driving a program called Boots to Business that I initiated. I was the second one in the country to do Boots to Business with our military members. And what that was was a 2-day program developed specifically to help service members that were transitioning out, like me and others. When we were pushed out, my transition consisted in my day of a wave like this and see ya. Oh, don't forget to turn in your base ID and your mailbox key. You remember that, Robin? and we got voluntold, and then maybe you got a wave and then you left. That was a transition, but that's all changed now. There's a lot of things going on with our military uniform personnel that they have the option to go to Boots of Business. And that program, I turned it over a year and a half ago, to our VBOC personnel, and her name's Margaret Evangelista. And Margaret is doing a fine job running our Boots of Business program. And for us veterans out there, there's a sister program called Reboot, where if you didn't have an opportunity to do Boots of Business, like I got out before it was developed, Robin, the same thing, you can participate in a Reboot that are put on at various centers. And our website is loaded with information on all these resource partners and what they're doing and how we are collaborating with each other, and as well as our community. So next slide, please. Okay, here's how you can connect to our SCORE folks. You can simply, I made it real simple. Call them, and these numbers that are on that screen and that website will connect you with them, and you can participate with whatever's going on in northern whatever's going on in Southern and certainly here in Central. And I'm getting all three of the chapters. I'm the state SCORE liaison, and so I'm coordinating with all their activities so that if any one of them is doing something of any nature, I'm going to make that readily available to you, and it's probably going to come to you through Jill, but I will make sure that you see this. And again, there's their contact information. So next slide, please. That's the Women Business Center, and Francisca Villegas is the director of the Women Business Center. She works hard at helping folks. I am telling you, she is a tireless worker. She works hard. So put her to the test, folks. I know we're talking to Tempe, and I know that's 100 miles north of Tucson, but go ahead, give her a call, give her a chance, see what happens. And if you don't like it, let me know, would you? And we'll see what we can do about that. Okay, next slide. Okay, here's our web pages, our links and so forth. I encourage you, we keep that AZ website updated, not only with the disaster stuff that's going on right now, and we're trying to keep you as current as we can be on some of that stuff. We all know we're watching Congress as we all try to figure out what the next stimulus package is going to look like. But as soon as we do, we'll get it posted on that website. You'll see it right away, and we're trying to keep up with it. It's a troublesome time right now, as many of our businesses are still, as Robin and I were talking earlier, still going through tough times. So as soon as there's anything legislatively that we can shout from the treetops, I want you all to know that we're going to shout it as loud as we possibly can. So here's your website information. Okay, next slide. Okay, there's Margaret's contact information on the VBOX. So for veterans, I'm going to also give myself a little toot. We on November 5th, we are doing an annual event that I've been doing for several years. We would do it live in our training room, and it's very popular for veterans, veteran family members, male spouses. If you can pronounce veteran, you're welcome to join us. And we have a good time. And I got 6 of the best speakers that you'll ever hear. And yes, again, if you're not a veteran and you can pronounce veterans, come join us. Okay, that's November 5th. You guys will see a flyer. I know Jill will get it out, and we're distributing it right now. We just went live on it, so you can register early. And we used to have to limit the seating because of our seating capacity, but now because of this environment, Robin, we can put it out to the masses, and I can get. I'm gonna shoot for bringing in some veterans from Florida, Boston. Nah, I'm just kidding you. Thanks. Okay, next slide. Okay. If there's any questions, I don't know how we're going to handle them, but I'll be happy to help out. There's my contact information, and I am serious as a heart attack. People that know me know when I give you my information and I ask you to call me with any kind of problem. I don't care if it's a domestic problem. I don't care if you got a vet that you've discovered is sitting behind a dumpster that needs a shelter, whatever you need. Non-vets as well. If we're all in this together, and we're all having to learn how to hold hands better and how to join with each other. And by doing so, we are learning that just how powerful we are as communities. And I want to thank you one and all for not only being here this morning, but for putting this together and giving me the opportunity to toot my horn a little bit. I sure appreciate that. And I'm going to move on to the next person, I think. I don't think we're going to take questions, or are we, Robin?
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Jim. I definitely appreciate everything that you do. Not only just your service to this country, but everything that you're doing with the SBA all across the state of Arizona. It's just been really important and phenomenal. We're grateful for your partnership. So thank you so much for that. I just want to thank not only our presenters that are here today, Marcus, Jim, and Jill, but the people that are actually on the line listening and learning, because that's what's really it's all about. You talk a lot about closing the communication loops, keeping everybody together, and I think you can see that just in Jim's presentation of how he references what Marcus is doing, what Jill's doing, and how important it is that we are continuing to share all this really good information and making sure that it's out there to our community. So I'm grateful for everybody, and we are going to take a quick second right now, and I'm going to check in with Tim. We've asked everybody if you've got any questions to please put them into the Q&A in the system. So Tim, I am going to go ahead and ask you now if there are any questions that anybody has.
Yeah, we did receive a question when Jim was talking. The first question was, how do we get information on how and where to attend the first Wednesday of the month meetings that you referred to?
Okay, those flyers are generally rolled out about 2 weeks. They start rolling them out 2 weeks before the event. So the next first Wednesday event is on 7th, I believe. Let me check my calendar real quick. Okay, so rolling out on, I stand corrected. The first Wednesday will be November 4th. Okay, so November 4th, and we're putting those flyers out right now, so you should start seeing them. And if Jill, in your community in Tempe, you know how to get those flyers to them. And but we broadcast them all over the state, all over, at economic development departments.
Awesome, thank you.
Or they can send me an email. You got my contact information, send it to you, and I'll send you a personal invite. How's that?
There you go. All right, we had one more question for you, Jim. It was, can we reach out to the SBA Women's Office for help and questions in Tucson if we're located in Tempe?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I insist on it. So, yeah, put Francisca to work down there. She needs extra work. How's that?
Thanks, Jim. That's awesome. I think, like we said, it's really important that we utilize these resources all across the state. You know, it's not territorial by any means. It's what we need to do to make sure that everybody is getting all the resources they need to be successful within the community. So much appreciated. And I would encourage anybody that's out there that has any questions about women in business or veteran-owned business or small business in general, to please put in your question. If we don't get to it today, we will make sure that we follow up with you. That's just going to be really important to make sure that we stay on the same page, and that any concerns that you may have or questions that you have, that they do get addressed by our partners that are here today. So I really do appreciate that. And then I'm going to go ahead and move on, Tim, if that's okay. We're going to keep these questions for the next round and move on to Marcus Brown. Marcus Brown is from the Maricopa Small Business Development Center. Marcus works to support local business owners through his role. He provides one-on-one counseling for business owners to discuss a variety of business-related topics, including business planning, launching, expansion, and financing. So prior to his position, he worked for over 9 years supporting residents of New York City through economic development-based organizations. So we're very excited. Thank you, Marcus, for everything that you do and our partnership with the city of Tempe. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. I really appreciate that. And thank you to the city of Tempe for the invitation this morning. This is really great. And good morning to all of you. Hopefully my audio is all right. As was said before, I'm Marcus Brown. I'm a proud business analyst with the Maricopa Small Business Development Center. And if any of you are not familiar with that whole mouthful of a word, let's just call it SBDC. The SBDC is a larger part of America's SBDC. And it's a 4-year-long organization that supports new entrepreneurs who are realizing their dream of obtaining or becoming a business ownership, and assisting existing entrepreneurs when remaining competitive in this ever-changing economy. And just as Jim mentioned, SBDCs are always hosted by a local community college, and we have the pleasure of being located at the Maricopa Community Colleges throughout the entire county. So whether you're as far out as Chandler or as deep out as Peoria or Glendale or whatever the case may be, we're here for you. But for you Tempe-based ones, just know I'm an East Valley guy. I probably live maybe 5 miles away from where the City of Tempe office is. So I'm here for you all throughout this particular area. And the benefit of being with SBDC is because we are a federally funded program through the SBA, we have the wonderful ability to offer our services with no fee, which means covered by funding elsewhere, and you have the opportunity to speak to us in a variety of capacities. Some of those capacities include one-on-one counseling. So in the situation where you're looking for someone to bounce on a business idea off of, launch a business idea, expand, or let's say your business is currently struggling as a result of this current downturn because of the pandemic. With my current clients, I work with them in discussing if they have a business idea, how to work on financial projections. So that way you're able to see where your first year and your second year are going to go, how to establish your business idea into a business plan, making sure it's cohesive and detailed and able to be shared with any funders or fellow ownership and directing your business, and also how to identify business funding. There's a lot of options out there for you as a business owner, whether you do it internally, through a lender, or through some form of capital. We work together to try to attain that goal. Now, let's say you're an existing business owner and you feel like you don't need any of that assistance. That's perfectly fine. But what happens is when we are established business owners, we sometimes forget to have that back and forth with somebody. So I work a lot of times with my clients in terms of discussing hiring tactics, placing the best job ad out there for people who are looking, and also securing a space for yourself. And is it the right time to secure a space for yourself? Or if you know that your business is performing well enough and you want to take it to a larger audience, maybe federally, nationally, or exporting, our office helps with that as well. We always try to make sure to encourage you at every level possible as a business owner. Now, unfortunately, there's been a lot of businesses been suffering because of the pandemic. We've been happy to assist those who are still looking to identify business funding or assistance with figuring out how to fill a PPP forgiveness application, or just wondering what they should do with their business right now. Should they discontinue it? Should they create some sort of contingency plan? Should they figure out whether to put it up for bankruptcy, or maybe they should sell it? We walk through all those different stages together, because whether you're in the process of starting or exiting, we believe that you should work with someone to kind of build that idea and make sure it's a well thought out process instead of just on the spur of the moment. Now, in regards to the other services we offer, we also support with market research, because we believe that the best way to establish your business is with making sure you have concrete information to base that resources off of. So market research we provide through two resources. One is through a platform called Iris World, and another is through our clearinghouse in Austin, Texas, through SBDC Net. And we research the information based on your business's Nexus code, or your North American Identification Classification System number. And we use that to give you and share with you industry analysis, benchmarks, information that will help you with business planning, making your next moves, and also figuring out if you're on the right track in terms of what the industry is performing and how you're performing. Are you underperforming? Are you overperforming? That's what the market research will be available at. And like our services before, the services as well are no fee of any charge. Now, the other way that we tend to work with a lot of our clients is through offering topics that we know a lot of clients have always been asking for. And just to hit on two topics or trainings that we have coming around the corner. Next slide. We have this Thursday, October 22nd, we're going to focus on small business payroll. Now, I know a lot of you who are probably participating on this call are either in the process of trying to secure a staff, or possibly looking into areas of establishing a staff, or maybe you're not even sure you want to maintain your staff. This training itself will be focusing on 4 key areas, in areas such as the difference between employee versus contracting rules, learning more information regarding bringing on new hires, such as record keeping, proper filing for new hires, and all that type of reporting, understanding the key difference for an employee besides salary or hourly, or W-9 versus 1099. And then also we're going to talk more at that session regarding payroll taxes, what you should know and what you should be aware of when you're filing both, and how to learn more about it as it goes to your business. And the benefit of this is it's going to be led by a fellow community partner named Tanya Lukin, who's a CPA, and she's going to be explaining how some of the recent changes with the PPP forgiveness loan will affect your business, and answering some frequently asked questions at that session too. So if you're interested 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. It's gonna. You're more welcome to register at maricopa-sbdc.com. There's a link up here, but I know it's around the corner, but it's a benefit for all of you. As our offices are remaining virtual, we encourage you to do the same as well too, and we want to make sure that you are fully aware of resources like this. Another item that's not on a slide, but I figured it would be helpful anyway, is in November we are going to be teaming up with our friends at Arizona Commerce Authority in regards to numbers everywhere. I hope you like that title. I know I do. On Tuesday the 10th at 9 a.m. It'll be your opportunity as a small business owner to learn more about small business accounting, or in a sense, how numbers are relevant for your business and what are the basis information you should be learning. It's going to be led by one of our fellow business analysts in association with ACA, and we would love to have you. And as I said before, a lot of our services recently have been geared towards the pandemic, and trainings in the past, especially with City of Tempe, have been going towards PPP preparation, PPP forgiveness, how to obtain an EIDL, and also in terms of helping you locate local COVID-19 funding. So if you're looking for any type of resources or assistance, I'd be happy to speak with you. And we have more time in the Q&A to talk, so I'd love to give it back over to the council member so she can speak a little more about that. But thank you all for listening in.
Awesome. Thank you, Marcus. I totally appreciate that information. I think sometimes people just don't realize what great resources that we have and what you guys are specifically doing. You know, being in the insurance world for so long, I think when you talk about payroll taxes and employee versus contractors, that is something that comes up all the time. And I think it's nice to know that there's somebody out there that can kind of help you work through that stuff. And I know when people are going to start filing their taxes with the PPE, that's going to be a lot of questions that are going to come up too. So I think it's just great to know that our community knows that there's resources available. One-on-one sessions to me is so important to be able to ask a specific question. So I definitely do appreciate that. And I would encourage people, if you've got a question, make sure you put it into the Q&A right now. And we'll make sure we get that answered. And before we take questions right now, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next speaker. So Marcus, thank you so much for everything that you do, for your partnership. It really does mean a lot. The city of Tempe and our community is very grateful for everything that you've done to really help our businesses be more successful and have the resources that they need to make sure that their business continues in a really positive path forward. So really grateful. Thank you for that. I want to take a second to introduce one of our very own employees, and she looks so serious right now. And that is Jill Bushbacher, and she is from the City of Tempe Economic Development Team. So Jill has been with the city for the last 5 years and has worked in workforce and economic development in the Valley for the last 19 years. So Jill manages Tempe's business retention and expansion program, as well as entrepreneurship and small business services. So Jill, we know you do a lot. You've been in the community a long time and in the state for a while, doing a lot of really great things. So thank you, Jill, for being here and everything that you do. Go ahead, Jill.
Thank you, Councilmember Arredondo-Savage. Really appreciate it. And thank you for hosting these roundtables. I know that it means a lot to the community. I also want to thank Jim and Marcus for speaking today. You do so much for our businesses, and we really appreciate all your efforts. And I just encourage everybody to reach out to Jim or Marcus with questions or needs that you might have. They're really, they're very humble about what they offer, but they're very, very impactful, and they're very much experts and always glad to chip in and lend a hand. So please reach out to them. So I'll go in just a little bit about our economic development department, and then I'm going to tell you about some of our new programs that we're really excited to be offering. Next slide, please. So we're all about jobs and new investment, and as I like to say, keeping our businesses happy, healthy, and here. So I work with our existing business community most, and but then my colleagues also work with attracting new business. We wear a lot of hats, being a small team, but we're very pleased to be serving a terrific community. And it's a challenging time, but it's also an exciting time to be resourceful and put on our creative hats and do all that we can to work together and help one another. Next slide, please. So we're very excited to have announced our small business grant program. It just started Monday of this week, so there's plenty of time still to apply. through the generous apportion of funds through our council members. We have 1.1 million in grants, and the grants are up to $10,000, and they're based on the number of employees. And the way that we've been able to work out the program, it's based on an allocation of about $1,300 in grant funds per employee. And I want to point out, when we have you calculate your number of employees, it's based on both direct and contracted employees. So if you have 1099 employees, you may qualify for this as well. And I'll get more into kind of the thinking behind that and the criteria here in just a moment. But just know that, you know, there's more to it than just on its face. So there are different ways to calculate your number of employees to qualify for this. And this program is open until October 30th. And we're very pleased to be partnering with the Arizona Community Foundation, who is administering the program for us. Next slide, please. So the main criteria would be that your business has between 1 and 100 employees. And as I said, either direct or 1099. So I'm going to give you an example. So if you're a gym, for example, and you have 1099 instructors or trainers, we want you to be able to count those as employees for the purposes of this program, because you have the same kind of overhead in that particular case or in many other cases, and the same struggles and difficulties during this time as others that have direct employees. So that's why we're allowing both types of employees to be counted under the program. We would require that you have less than 5 million in gross receipts, that you've been in business since at least October 12th of last year. So you've been in business approximately a year, and that you're not a mobile or home-based business. Next slide, please. So we looked at specific industries that have been most impacted and dug into the data, most impacted by COVID during this time. And these are the 6 areas that were identified. And the names there on the screen are kind of, you know, bureaucratic terms that were developed by NAICS codes, which is North American Industrial Classification System, that's used by like the Bureau of Labor Statistics and others. But the point being, these are the areas that have been most impacted, and we wanted to make sure that the program really addressed those most in need. So if you're a restaurant, if you're a gym, if you're a child care center, maybe you work, maybe you have a doctor's office and you've been impacted during this time because folks have been reticent to come in and get some of the services maybe they normally would have, and it's affected your business. Maybe you're a manufacturer who's had a downturn, especially if your business is related to commercial aviation. I know that's been difficult for some manufacturers. Or maybe you have a support-related business. Maybe you have an office cleaning service, and that's been tremendously impacted because many offices have been closed and people have been working remotely during this time. Those are the kinds of things or kinds of businesses that might qualify under this program. So just know that that's really kind of the rationale and the way that we've looked at this and some of the criteria required for the program. And the best way to apply is at tempe.gov/business grants. All the details and frequently asked questions and the link to the application are at that site. And you're certainly always welcome to reach out to me. I'm glad to help with any questions you might have. And then there's also help from the Arizona Community Foundation. Next slide, please. Oh, and I would just add one last thing on the grant program. We've had about 90 applicants so far, and I'll be receiving them in waves to do the final approvals. I'm happy to say we just approved $162,000 worth of grants for this first group, this first batch that we reviewed. And we're excited, to be funding many more. So please apply as soon as you can. The funds will go quickly. We want to serve as many businesses as we can. And we think we'll be able to serve, depending on the grant amounts, between 150 and 200 businesses under the program. So the other program that we have is a safety supply program. We know that, nobody really planned ahead to have to spend money on masks and sanitizers and other kinds of things to keep your employees and your customers safe. And so it's one of the small ways that we're trying to help at the city. So we've allocated some funds and bought some of these supplies, and we're able to get some good pricing based on our vendor contracts because we've been able to order in bulk. And so we have washable, reusable, sustainable, masks and sanitizers we'll be distributing to the community next Monday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We just ask that you register, if you would, with us at tempe.gov/safety. And, it's very simple. It probably takes you 30 seconds or so to apply. And then you can just drive up. We'll have a drive-through type setting on Monday, the 26th. Drive up, give us your name, the name of your business. We'll hand you your bag of supplies. And we're really thrilled to be offering this help. It's 100 masks and 3 1-liter bottles of sanitizers for larger businesses. And for the smallest businesses, it's 50 masks and 2 bottles of the hand sanitizer. And there'll be some other information about a variety of business resources through our partners in the bag as well, just for a little added bonus. But please sign up for that. We're pleased to offer that to you all, and just appreciate everybody taking the time this morning, and hope you'll take part in these great programs that we have to offer. Next slide, please. So we've been doing the Buy Now, Save Local campaign since about April. It's resulted in about $50,000 worth of revenue to some of our small businesses that have participated. It's basically a digital gift card program. So consumers through an app with a local Tempe-based company called Hound can download that app and support our local businesses. And our council members, like Councilmember Arredondo-Savage, have gone out and visited with some of our small businesses and done shout outs and sent us pictures with some of these businesses that have been participating in the program. In fact, we're going to be doing some videos with council members, giving even more shout outs and working with our businesses here next month that are participating in this. But it's a way for the community to support your business, and the city pays for the merchant fees. So during this campaign, which is sponsored by city funds and the Tempe IDA, you won't pay merchant fees. You'll get some additional, marketing capacity and reach additional customers, and you'll get some revenues in through the digital gift cards. So it's a great no-cost program for you to participate in. And you see the website there, tempe.gov/buy-now-save-local. So please sign up for that if you haven't already. We have about 100 or so businesses that are signed up right now. And as always, or as we've had for quite a few months now, we have a business resource page. And you just go to tempe.gov/coronavirus and click on For Business. And we list all of our programs, information from our partners. Jim and Marcus's programs are listed there, along with Local First and Chamber and several other partners. And we just try to, give you all the most up-to-date information that we can at that site. And we just, hope, again, you'll take advantage of these resources and don't hesitate to contact us if you have questions or need help using them. Next slide, please. Here's my contact information. Again, always glad to help. That's what I'm here for. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jill. Always very informative. And I love to see that the city of Tempe is really utilizing all the information and the concerns and the questions that we've received in the past, and some of the challenges that our businesses are having to really help address them. So thank you so much for those great programs. I would encourage anybody that, is still having some struggles, please check in with our partners. I know we will have an answer to any one of your questions. I am very confident about that. And with that said, Jill, thank you for everything that you do to really stay connected with our local businesses to make sure that we are addressing their needs as they continue to come up. So I know we have a few more questions in the queue, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Tim. Tim, you got a couple questions?
I do. I'm going to try to get them in order because they're coming in from different places. The first one will be to Jill. I think we had the answer, but someone asked if nonprofit organizations are eligible for the grants.
They're not eligible for this grant, but there's another city grant program that's open currently to help nonprofits. And I'm glad if you want to connect with me or Tim, we can send you that information.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we'll go to the next one. This one will be for Jim. Someone said that they had, during the time of COVID, they had applied for a loan through SBA, and the process has been difficult. Any suggestions on other opportunities for funding?
Yeah, it's the best way for me to address that question is to have whoever asked it to send me an email to james.pipper@sba.gov. Because it's a slippery slope, but I need to know a little bit more details, and I'll be happy to help out. I've been doing that day in and day out, so be happy to answer via email.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I have one for Marcus as well. It says, what are the main concerns or issues you're hearing from businesses when you meet with them?
So a lot of it's regarding how to access financing at the moment. I think a lot of businesses are really trying to figure out how they can cover their next month's worth of operating expenses. And most of the times I'm letting them know you can either figure that out based upon reviewing your current financials and seeing where you're struggling, or we can look at what money you saved on the side to possibly inject into the business. But our goals, working with them, if they're struggling with financing, is figuring out, okay, what is your current situation? How much money do you currently have coming in, and where can you apply? Is it an SBA funded resource, or possibly a local resource based on one of your municipalities? So unfortunately, funding has been the recent concern for most of businesses, but if we work together, we're always going to try to see if we can find a solution to deal with that need.
Great, thank you. We have another one that just came in. I think it'll be for Jill. It says, how do we know if we received the grant? Do you let us know before October 30th?
So we're trying to process those as quickly as we can. I get a list every week. And so if you apply, say, towards the end of the grant cycle, towards October 30th, you may not hear, by that date. But we're trying to let you know, say, within, 7 to 10 business days of when you've applied. And if you have questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm glad to get the answer for you. But I just encourage everybody to apply as quickly as they can, because the money will go quickly. Again, we can fund between 150 and 200 applications, and so far we've gotten 90 applicants. So we just, we need people to apply as quickly as they can. Another thing I would add, just to let everybody know and to remind everyone, there's another source for a grant as well that you may qualify for. Maricopa County has a grant program open right now for grants of up to $25,000, and it's open through October 30th, and it's also administered by the Arizona Community Foundation. So if you go to the azfoundation.org website, you'll find the county's grant program and our program. And, please apply for both. We're not turning anyone away if they got the county's grant. We're not turning them away if they apply for our program as well, because we know it takes a lot to keep our businesses afloat right now. So there's no harm, no foul in applying for both. So please look at both and take advantage of every opportunity.
Thank you. And I have, I think, one more that all three of you can answer if you'd like. What are your top 2 pieces of advice right now for small businesses that are struggling?
Okay, I'll give you my top 2 pieces of advice. Number 1, the people that put this together, that you're seeing pictured in these little boxes, get to know us. I say this so often and so many times, like the question that's going to be emailed to me, don't let that be an end. Make it a beginning. It should always be a beginning. So when you contact Jill or Councilmember Arredondo-Savage or Marcus, get to know us. That's very important. It's called relationship building. That's the only way I can tell you we're going to get through this, is to get through it together, but it means really connecting with each other. The other suggestion that I say all the time, and whether you're dealing with the federal government, state government, city government, county government, there's an old rumor out there that goes like this: yeah, the government, they can't help us. Okay, and don't make that mistake. There's a lot of folks just like us really trying very, very hard to help our communities. We are in those communities with you. So it's not like I'm speaking to you in an abstract manner. I am here, and that's important as well. So don't follow that old rumor mill. Get on the bandwagon, make phone calls, emails, and let's see how we can help each other. There, that's it.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Jim. Go ahead, Marcus. What do you got?
So my main thing that I tell a lot of my clients is, before you do anything, just try to remain calm. There's a lot of new information going out there, and a lot of times it's overwhelming, and maybe you have a staff, you're freaking out a little bit. But the best thing to do before you make any changes or do anything or apply for any funding is make sure you're calm, and then evaluate your current contingency plan. And I say a contingency plan, it's basically break glass if this happens, and try to see about what's going on. If your finances are low for the month, if you know you can't bring on certain people, consult that plan and figure out step by step where you need to go. I mean, there may be a possibility you need enough financing that requires speaking to Jill, the city of Tempe, speaking to SBA for extensive more funding, or possibly you putting more financing yourself up into the business. But you need to both be calm first and consult your plan. And I just want to echo and piggyback back on what Jim said, because a lot of times I work with clients and sometimes they feel a little bad, like, oh, I work with SCORE, I work with SBA, I work with City of Tempe. And I say, that's fine. Between these four little squares, there's a lot of information going around. And I'm the first to tell you, I'm not the one to be the owner of it all. So I would encourage you to please work with all of us, because we talk to each other regularly, and our main focus is making sure that your business is still existing when this thing is done. I mean, it's supposed to be done now, but there's still a lot of people struggling. So please do not be stubborn. Make sure you're calm, consult your contingency plan, and speak to all of us, because we want to make sure you're funded for next year and beyond if possible. Don't let this pandemic take you out.
Right on, Marcus. All right, Jill.
So I would just add to that a couple more resources: the Tempe Chamber of Commerce, Local First, Rail CDC. We have a whole network of folks that are here to help you, and that's what our goal is. Like Jim and Marcus said, to keep you afloat during this time and help you come out stronger in the end. And no one of us has all the answers, so working with a variety of us will serve you best. And maybe you'll feel more of an affinity with one group over another, or maybe you'll just piece all the information together between all of us. That'll be key to your success. Whatever it might be for you, just know we're here to help, and there's a strong variety of folks that want to see you survive and thrive in Tempe.
I couldn't have said it better. You guys are really phenomenal. And I think one of the things that I heard that is most important is not one of us has all the answers, but what the great part is a great network of resources. So whether it was from our first roundtable to this roundtable, Jill mentioned all those individuals, all of our great partners that want everyone to be successful within their communities, wherever you may be. And I would say too, if you're a business owner and you found something that may be helpful for you, share it with another business owner. If you're a resident in your community, make sure that you are supporting your local businesses, and how important that is to make sure that they can be successful during these really challenging times. So I just want to say a great appreciation to each and every one of you. Jill, Jim, Marcus, thank you for taking the time to be here today. You guys are the ones that are really making it happen and giving those resources, putting them right in front of our businesses to make sure that they are comfortable to ask the questions, ask for help so they can survive these times and even come out in a better capacity when it's all over, said and done. So I am so grateful to the partnership here. I'm thankful for our Tempe team. Thank you so much, Tim, and to Alex, and to our PIOs for getting the message out. And I will tell you, this is going to be online later. So if you didn't have a chance to catch the whole thing, or somebody just came in a little bit late, you need more information, please take the time to watch this, share it. This is really good information that will help you be successful, you know, during these challenging times. Everybody here on the screens wants nothing but the best for you. So I want to again just say thank you guys all so very much for taking the time. We are in this together, and we're going to get through it together. So you guys take care. Have an awesome day. Bye now.